So one sort of random but interesting feature about Kingdom Hearts is that it seems to introduce a lot of the core characters in the form of trios, from obviously the Destiny trio of Sora, Riku, and Kairi, to what formed as the Trinity trio with Sora, Donald, and Goofy, to the more notable fan favorites like the Sea Salt trio and the Wayfinder trio. And while we might see Sora become part of a new trio while he's in Quadratum, I don't think he'll be the only one forming a new trio in the Lost Master arc. Welcome back, y'all. This is your girl, Empowered Muse, and today we're going to talk about a potential new trio we'll probably see in the Lost Master arc, and maybe even as soon as Kingdom Hearts 4. But the kicker is, it's not a trio that will involve Sora, at least not directly. So I've mentioned this before, but part of Kingdom Hearts' story focuses on different sets of characters and not just Sora's journey. And obviously we'll have other stories explored like Kairi's training and Riku searching for Sora in Quadratum, but I think an important part of the Lost Master arc will actually focus on the remaining Union leaders and pivotal characters from Union Cross that still exist in the present day, which includes Ventus, Lauriam, and Elrena. And while we can already assume that Lauriam and Elrena have been recompleted after the events of Kingdom Hearts 3, I'm very curious to see just where this will take them in the next arc. I mean, we know that their goal is to still find clues about Lauriam's sister Strelitzia and her data, and there's actually a good reason this will also involve Ven. So right away, I think with both Lauriam and Elrena's memories returning to them as they were recompleted from their Nobody's defeat in the Keyblade Graveyard, they'll both remember that Ventus was with them at one point before the lifeboat arcs transported them to different areas. This will likely be the starting point for Lauriam and Elrena, assuming that they recompleted in the same place or at least in close proximity to each other. And so with Ventus being one of the first clues to possibly continuing their journey to find Strelitzia's data, I think Lauriam and Elrena will actually make the move to go find Ventus, especially because it was Ven who was overtaken by the willful darkness and struck down Strelitzia in Union Cross. Not to mention, Lauriam also witnessed Ven locking a pure darkness within him when the Union leaders and player were battling these darknesses. So it makes sense that Lauriam would want to seek out Ventus once he was recompleted. I think also as a Union leader and as Ephemer's friend, Lauriam would want to keep his promise that he'd look after Ven as they said their goodbyes before departing on the lifeboat arcs. And while Lauriam may have this goal in mind and Elrena will likely follow Lauriam's decision, it'll be curious to see just how receptive Ven will be to rejoining Lauriam and Elrena at this point in the Kingdom Hearts story. And I think there is a bigger question on just how Ven will react to seeing Lauriam and Elrena, because a lot of Ven's memories of his days being a Union leader in Daybreak Town still seem to be locked away. There's a chance that more of Ven's Union Cross memories will return to him after reuniting with his Charity, but at this point it's very much up in the air if Ven will eventually recover his full memories, at least by the time Lauriam and Elrena possibly pay him a visit. So this will likely result in a lot of hesitancy in Ven rejoining Lauriam and Elrena to continue to seek out Strelitzia, especially if at any point Ven did come across their nobodies, Marluxia and Larxene, in the Keyblade Graveyard. It'll probably be difficult at first for Lauriam to even approach Ven if Ventus still doesn't have his old memories of his Union Cross days. But this is also why it was pivotal for Naminé to gain her own body and for Ven's Charity to reunite with him. Just like Naminé restored Sora's memories when he was in Castle Oblivion, perhaps she could do the same thing with Ven in a way that will return all his memories to him without causing his brain to break, as that seemed to be a major side effect with Ventus, at least in Birth by Sleep. Although that could have been explained by his more fragile state after Vanitas was extracted from him. But perhaps Vanitas' extraction is a part of why Ven's Union Cross memories seem to be lost or blocked. Maybe when Xehanort extracted Vanitas from Ventus, some of his Union Cross memories left him in the process. Hopefully it's something a bit more simple, like Ven's Charity simply had to return to him to be the medium that brought his memories back, or Naminé can fix his memories while he's asleep. But Ven has gone through so much that overall his memories might have been affected throughout his journey. But while there may be some tension and a lot of questions if we do get a Ventus, Lauriam, and Elrena reunion early on in the Lost Master arc, I do think that this trio will in fact be one of the main trios for this arc. I think there will come a point, especially if Ven recovers more of his memories from Union Cross, that Ven will feel the need to join Lauriam and Elrena in their quest to find out more about Strelitzia. And I think if Ven does in fact recover the critical memory that it was him possessed by darkness that struck down Strelitzia in the first place, then that will be even more motivation for him to essentially break away from Aqua and Terra to join Lauriam and Elrena. So there's a good chance we'll get to see this new trio, perhaps referred to as the Union Cross trio or the Daybreak trio, go through their own journey in the Lost Master arc. I think a lot of their journey would involve tracing their steps to places of the past, and maybe finding answers in a world like Scala at Kylum in order to figure out what might have happened with Strelitzia and or her data after she was struck down in a Union Cross. And let's not forget that both Laurium and Aurena were dandelions at one point, with Laurium being the whole Union leader. So it'll be very likely that both Laurium and Aurena will be able to recover their Keyblades at some point after their recompletions. So it won't be hard to imagine the ways in which Vin, Laurium, and Aurena could travel to different worlds looking for clues about Strelitzia. But from the first Kingdom Hearts 4 concept trailer, we already know that some version of Strelitzia does still exist. She's just in another realm beyond that of reality. So it makes sense that this new trio's journey to find her might at some point end up in Quadratum during the Lost Master arc. It's hard to say whether Ventus, Laurium, and Aurena will end up in Quadratum early on in the Lost Master arc or closer to the end, but if I had to venture a guess, I could see them ending up in Quadratum at some point in the middle of the Lost Master arc. Maybe not close to whatever the final showdown is for this arc, but sometime before, with Laurium learning of Strelitzia's existence there, and the trio having to find a way to venture to this new realm of unreality. So with their arrival and possible meeting with Strelitzia in Quadratum, it'll be very curious to see just how this interaction will play out. Whether the Strelitzia we see is a real version or a replica recreated from her data, and if she is a replica, would she even remember her brother Laurium, or even that Ventus was the one who struck her down? Furthermore, how would Vin react to seeing Strelitzia again, and would that cause a bigger break in his psyche than we've seen so far? And as far as Laurium's own reaction, he might be okay with just seeing Strelitzia again, but something tells me that he won't really be okay with the fact that this Strelitzia is one made of data, so she won't be the exact same Strelitzia he once knew and grew up with. This might be a lot harder for Laurium to accept than we realize, and while he's obviously turned to darkness before, for the purposes of becoming a nobody, this could leave him vulnerable to an even more powerful darkness to overtake him. And if that does in fact happen, could Aurena be the one to bring him back before it's too late and he becomes lost to darkness? Regardless, I do think Vin, Laurium, and Aurena will not only find what they're looking for once they arrive in Quadratum, but they'll also be faced with more challenges once they find Strelitzia. So with the resolutions in the Darkseeker saga, I think it's time for a new trio to rise for the Lost Master arc. Neither Vin, nor Laurium, nor Aurena's journeys are over by a long shot, and I think how their stories were left at the end of Kingdom Hearts 3 left the door open for these characters to not only continue their journeys, but also form a new trio that will be important to the Lost Master arc. But I want to hear from you, so let me know what you think about a new trio with Vin, Laurium, and Aurena in the comments below. If you want to explore some more Kingdom Hearts theories, I'll be linking another Kingdom Hearts theory video here in the end screen, and as always, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to this channel if you enjoyed this video and want to watch more Kingdom Hearts content. And if there's anyone who may have questions about what to expect for the upcoming Kingdom Hearts games, be sure to share this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.